Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today's Monday, September 25th. Hope you had a great weekend. Going to get started with today's video and live stream here momentarily. We'll give it another probably 30 seconds or so for people to join us, and then we'll get started with today's live stream. I see we have quite a few people joining us. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started here in about 15 seconds. If you could smash the like, share the video with anybody that can jump on last minute, and we'll get started with today's content in just a few minutes. Sorry, just a few seconds. All right, hope everyone had a great weekend. As I mentioned, today is Monday, September 25th. I had a great weekend, busy day again today. I was actually at the Airbnb, had some stuff to do there, and then I had a meeting with my lawyer, finalizing one condo purchase and working on another one. So hopefully everything goes well. I should have one condo purchase, be my third condo purchase in the less than 2 years. That one's due to close, I think, on Thursday. Everything's going according to plan, and then the other one's due to close next week. So it's been busy. And also, like I said, big news, expecting to be a father here before too long over the next few months into the beginning of 2024. So lots going on in my world, but I hope you had a great weekend and I hope you're doing awesome as well. I see we have a ton of people joining the live stream, so we're going to get started. Before we get started though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future live streams when I post a new video. Today we're going to be discussing a big week ahead for MJ. We've got over 800 banks today. There was some news today, over 800 banks filed to allow MJ businesses as per a FinCEN report. So this is breaking news. This is huge news. This is hot news. Yeah, you bet, Boris. I see we have a ton of people joining and commenting as well. I'll jump into any questions, or we'll do a little bit of a Q&A and just overall get a feel of what the community is thinking. But let me know what you think of this news in the live chat or in the comment section below if you're viewing this after the fact. But seeing, like I said, a bunch of people here, some congratulations, thank you. Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm still waiting on my package from you. Marcus, nice. Okay, yeah, you must mean the merch. Yeah, it should be there soon. I ordered the hat, the Tilray hat, Team Tilray hat, and it was here in like a week or so. So it just depends on what it is that you ordered and depends where you are. But absolutely, we'll get started with the live stream today and this breaking news, and then we'll discuss the big week ahead for MJ. Before we jump to that, though, make sure to give Pow Group a follow on X, which is previously Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. I'm going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So again, the handle for that is @GroupPow. Also, as Marcus mentioned, if you're waiting for a package from Pow Merch, you can go to powmerch.ca, and you can even go to the store tab here directly on YouTube as well on the channel. And there's all the merch there as well. So there's tons of stuff you can buy. You can get like Team Tilray, Team Canopy, Team XRP, bunch of specific stuff to Pow Group as well. But I ordered a bunch of stuff as well, so I've already got like 5 or 6 items, and I ordered another order, so I'm really looking forward to it. There's also 10% off until the end of the week, so if you use POWG420, that'll give you 10% off as a thank you. I love each and every one of you who have supported me along the way. It's definitely been a journey. Also posted here today on the community tab on the Pow Group YouTube channel. If you're not familiar, you can just go to the community tab, and then this is where I post a lot of the raw footage. Because a lot of social media and stuff like that don't like when you post, flour and things like that and prices of things. So I just got the new shred darts, which are basically the same as the Redecan Readies. And I said they're now available at the downtown location. Decided to get all 3. So Tropic Thunder, you got Funk Master and Gnarlberry. They're pretty cheap as well. They're only like $18 and 23%, and then the Funk Master was 25%. So I'll give everybody an update on what I think, but so far the quality wasn't nearly as good as the Readies, but and they're using the old filter. So you can see here they're using the old filter, whereas there's new technology for the Readies, and it's a hemp paper though, which is pretty cool to see. But again, the quality just wasn't as rolled as great as the Readies. And I said imitation is the highest form of flattery, which is 100% true. So if anybody's tried those, let me know, but I haven't tried them yet, but I'll keep everybody posted on my thoughts and opinions once I do try them. And that's an Organigram product, by the way. So here's the news from High Times. reporting over 800 banks filed to allow MJ businesses, FinCEN reports. The U.S. Department of Treasury is getting hundreds more requests from banking institutions to work with MJ businesses. And this comes, like I said, in a big week ahead as we have the Safer Banking Act on the 27th. So banking institutions are in a race to allow MJ businesses ahead of imminent changes to the way that MJ is classified at the federal level. We know that HHS came out August 30th with the recommendation of Schedule 3. Now we need DEA sign off. That could potentially come over the next couple of months, in my opinion. And we know that with my recent interview with Morgan Fox, political director at Normal, he basically says it's going to be long time. There's no precedent. But I think it's going to be more sooner than later than what most people think. And then safe banking as well. I think things are really starting to heat up, no pun intended. But according to the federal data, MJ remains prohibited at the federal level, but the U.S. Health and Human Services, HHS, recommendation to reclassify MJ under Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 changes everything. Not really that much. It changes the profile, the stigma, and the banking access to bank, like the 280E tax code. But really, other than that, it'd be full-blown descheduling that would, and again, we mentioned that in the Morgan Fox interview. If you haven't seen that, you can just go to the live channel here. And I did an interview with Morgan Fox, political director. We talked rescheduling, safer banking, Cure Act, MORE Act. But yeah, Normal, they're a nonprofit that lobbies the U.S. government, so working to reform MJ laws, and they're a nonprofit that he works with Congress and these constituents and people in Capitol Hill, right, on a day-to-day basis. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But descheduling is ultimately where we want to go and be treated the same as alcohol and tobacco, but we'll take it, right? We'll, one step at a time and kind of crawl, walk, run. But yeah, Schedule 3 would be huge for MSOs and the operators in the U.S. because that would remove 280E tax burden. As Curaleaf founder and executive chairman Boris Jordan said, if it wasn't for 280E tax code, they wouldn't have already paid the government over $350 million in that tax code alone, and they would probably already be paying a dividend. So let that sink in for a second. Everybody thinks dividends are, decades away, when Curaleaf, right from the horse's mouth, Boris Jordan said they'd already be paying a dividend if it wasn't for 280E tax code. So imagine what's going to happen if we do get that recommendation to Schedule 3, which I think is very, very possible. Normal reports that there is a spike in the number of banking institutions that are filing to work with MJ businesses as the fear of repercussions subsides. Right? You could be faced with lawsuits and things like that, litigation, if companies engage in working with MJ businesses when it's at Schedule 1, right? They could face litigation, but they mentioned Normal there. And again, I did an interview with Morgan Fox, who's the political director at Normal. Make sure to check that out. According to the quarterly data provided by Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, a bureau of the United States Department of the Treasury, over 800 banks and credit unions have filed paperwork with the U.S. government acknowledging their relationship with licensed MJ businesses. FinCEN reports 812 banks and credit unions reported that they're actively working with MJ companies during the second quarter of this year. That's a record high since FinCEN first started tracking these numbers. It represents a significant rise from last year's numbers when they identified 553 banks and only 11% of all U.S. banks and 202 credit unions. FinCEN issued guidance to clarify Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, expectations for financial institutions seeking to provide services to MJ-related businesses, MRBs. The report, which is available for download, reads, the FinCEN guidance clarified how financial institutions can provide services to MJ-related businesses consistent with their BSA obligations and aligns the information provided by financial institutions in BSA reports with federal and state law enforcement priorities. FinCEN types of MJ businesses. So in 2014, FinCEN guidance specifies 3 phrases for describing a financial institution's relationship to MJ-related businesses. So MJ Limited means the financial institution provides financial services to an MRB that the financial institution reasonably believes, based on its customer due diligence, does not implicate one of the Cole Memo priorities or violate state law. MJ Priority means the financial institution provides the financial services to an MRB that the financial institution reasonably believes, based on its customer due diligence, implicates one of the Cole Memo priorities or violates state law. And then Termination, MJ Termination means the financial institution deems it necessary to terminate a relationship with an MRB in order to maintain effective anti-money laundering compliance program. Normal leaders discussed the topic with the Hill last May. No industry can operate safely, transparently, or effectively without access to banks or other financial institutions, and it's self-evident that the players in the industry, smaller and minority-owned businesses in particular, and those consumers that have been served by it, will remain severely hampered without better access to credit and financing. Normal Deputy Director Paul Armentano told the Hill. And yeah, you can't even buy MJ with a credit card in the U.S., right? So yeah, not that you want to like rack up a bunch of credit card debt, but I mean, it's 2023 here, right? Come on, let's get with the times. And, essentially they're operating as a cash business. So it's very dangerous for the employees and the owners that are running these, basically cash businesses. And they have this like ATM workaround, but you're still being hit with an ATM charge. So even if you take your debit card into, like when I was in Planet 13 and in Nevada and Las Vegas and then in Colorado, I did some videos on that, some documentaries essentially documenting my trip. But essentially you have to pay with your debit card and it dings you as if you were at an ATM, right? So you get a fee from your bank and then a fee from the establishment. So you're being dinged twice and you're already paying a ton of money because MJ in the US is really expensive. Especially if you're from Canadian like me, you go there and your dollar is only worth like 0.7%, right? So you lose like 30% on the dollar whenever you convert from Canadian over there. So, it all adds up. And it's time to get with the times, and it's more safer as well. According to the survey data compiled by last year by Whitney Economics, over 70% of MJ businesses that were asked said that they lack access to banking or investment capital is their top challenge. FinCEN's MJ Banking update from March 2022 shows a steady increase in the number of banks and credit unions filing to cater to MJ businesses. As of September 30th, 2021, FinCEN had received a total of 219,097 SARs using the key phrases associated with MRBs. Several of the SARs contained more than one key phrase, which accounts for the number of each key phrase being greater than the total, the report reads. So it just goes on. It's about some mumbo jumbo. I'll place this link in the description below if you want to read it. Why banks are changing their tune. So Yahoo News reported earlier this month that HHS recommendation to reclassify MJ from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 drug could transform the MJ industry and create new opportunities for banking institutions. It's also called fiduciary duties and shareholders to adhere to, right? Why would, if you're somebody like a big Fortune 500 company or a big financial institution or hedge fund or whatever, why would you risk, tarnishing your reputation and supporting a Schedule 1 drug? If something gets rescheduled to Schedule 3 or even descheduled, and then we get safe banking as well, then it's just going to raise the profile. It's going to remove the stigma, and it's just going to overall help the movement of this industry, right? So rescheduling MJ to Schedule 3 may allow dispensaries to accept credit card payments. There you go, something I just mentioned. Richard Lederman said, former head of Treasury for Visa and co-founder of Chair of Standard C, said, credit card payments may supplant cash transactions if this occurs, reducing the risk and costs associated with cash-only operations. Exactly, everything that I just said. MJ banking expert Robert Barron said, while changes will inevitably occur, financial institutions looking to serve this market segment must implement risk management tools to evaluate and monitor MJ businesses. This is where Standard C businesses underwriting and monitoring tools are perfectly suited to meet their Bank Secrecy Act and customer due diligence obligations. The HHS recommendation to reclassify MJ from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 would be a pivotal step, the first of its kind at the federal level, to make the MJ industry safer for everyone. And funny how right after we have Safer Banking Act, which is scheduled for Wednesday. So big week ahead. There was also news here, an article from MJ Moment that just came out, was about half an hour ago, a little over half an hour ago. National Conference of State Legislatures urges Senate to pass MJ banking bill as much needed solution to industry's challenges. And basically, in Congress wasn't able to get anything done. So, the Biden administration, he called on, the research bill, and then called on HHS to review the classification. And so, since, Capitol Hill and Congress lawmakers weren't able to get something done, they basically, Biden stepped in and said, okay, we're going to do reschedule it. We'll reschedule it then. And that's going to solve a lot of this stigma and raise the profile and just really put it at the forefront, right? Because we know MJ was on the back burner for the longest time since C-19 and everything. And that seems to be somewhat behind us at this point. So big week ahead. Today was also the vote for Canopy. So Canopy had its 2023 AGM, so annual general and special meeting for shareholders, and they mentioned today failing to close over $1 last week on Wednesday would have been the 8th day to regain NASDAQ compliance. Today they voted to share consolidate, meaning for 15-to-1 reverse split. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. Even if the vote is approved, they still have until mid-January to get regain compliance, and they could even get a 180-day extension. But we should get the results from that on that vote later on today, if not tomorrow. And then, like I said, safer banking on the 27th on Wednesday. And then, as we know, we also have Apple secretly joining Amazon in advancing commercial MJ reform. So it's different this time around. We also have Uber Eats and Leafly partner to bring MJ delivery to British Columbians here in Canada. So big tech is getting behind the industry. We've got heavy hitters, like I said, not only from a corporation and Fortune 500 standpoint, but we've got major movements with regards to lawmaking and different departments of the U.S., right? HHS recommending it, DA now needing them to sign off on Schedule 3, if not recommend something else. And then, like I said, safer banking. Then we have all of the big tech companies backing it this time around. And we also have Benzinga, which will be on September 27th and the 28th during the same time of the Safer Banking Act. So this is all coinciding quite nicely here for a big week in MJ. But yeah, we'll take a look at any tickers that everybody does have right now. But at the moment, MSOS, the ETF tracking all the U.S. major names, is starting the daily bounce today. And we closed near the low of the day today. So wouldn't be surprised if we did see more weakness into tomorrow. And we are at risk of a daily downtrend as well. And it is a bit of a head and shoulders here that would be looking for. And just a quick measured move, you'd be looking at about a move down to about $6.30. So that's possible as well. And if that were to confirm, then we'd start weekly consolidation. But at the moment, it is a weekly potential bull flag as long as we ignore that lower wick there. But if we do lose 762, we won't be paying attention to this weekly bull flag anymore. Generally, we want to be in a weekly uptrend as well. And we haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend. We're just forming the higher low now. So we need that higher low and then the higher high. So we need the higher low, higher high. So we're forming the higher low now potentially, but we still need the higher high to give us that weekly uptrend. And generally, bull flags are bullish continuation patterns. Bear flags are bearish continuation patterns. But look at the signs here that was pointing to upside. We had a falling wedge that broke bullish, and we came back in, and then on the second go round, we actually broke it on news. We had an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well with the shorter term below the longer term. That was another second pattern that we were watching that we could potentially see upside. So that was two very bullish indicators that we were looking at that were showing bull momentum. And then we also had hidden RSI bull divergence here. So we had hidden RSI bullish divergence with higher lows, higher highs on the RSI, and lower lows, lower highs on the price action. So again, we had tons of indicators and patterns showing that we were more than likely due for a massive breakout, and that came on the news as well. Like I said, of HHS recommendation to Schedule 3, which would be the biggest, I would argue, the biggest, thing for the MJ industry aside from, Canada legalizing, right? So some people could say it's even bigger than that because we're looking at, the biggest catalyst of our lifetime, which could be the US legalizing at the federal level. But we'll take a look at some movers and shakers on the day today. In terms of Canadian MJ, we had IMCC, CGC, and WIB leading the bull list. On the bear list, we have XTRX, Huge, and Love. CGC was up over $1 today. And off of the lows, look at this move. Off the lows there, it was up almost 500%, 410%. Then we pulled back almost 60%, right? After almost a 5x move, right? 500%, people were shocked that we were down 60%. How can you be shocked we're down 60% when we just shot up from mid 30 cents to $2? Of course we're due for a pullback, right? And I said, don't be surprised if we pull back to $1 and flush thereof. And then they use that to scare people. And then sure enough, off of that low, that's exactly what happened. Now off the low, we're up almost 35%. So this is a day traders and swing traders paradise at the moment. But we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as we head toward daily oversold. And we are in a daily downtrend here with the high, low, lower high, and lower low. Another lower high forming compared to 157. Anything under 157 is just a daily lower high in a daily downtrend. And we would expect daily downtrend continuation to the downside as we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as we head toward daily oversold, which could potentially mark our bottom somewhere around that. Maybe we get as low as 60 cents, maybe 55 cents. It's entirely possible. I've been saying for a while now that the U.S. government could see shutdown where, in the next couple of days, in the next few days, we could see the government shut down. Historically, October is not a great month for stocks. So I think that we could see, if we just bring up SPY real quick, SPY is a weekly downtrend confirmed. So if we just zoom out here, you can see here we have the high, low, lower high, and lower low. So weekly downtrend confirmed on SPY. That's not good. That means monthly consolidation underway. So we're losing the low of the previous monthly candle. When we confirm a downtrend, it means zoom out to the next level time frame, and then we're consolidating, meaning we're pulling back. So weekly downtrend confirms means we're confirming monthly consolidation, losing the low of last month. So what I'm looking for on SPY is the potential for a government shutdown. People are going to freak out, right? And then this is potentially going to go to weekly oversold. And then if we take a look at the DXY, the US dollar currency index, which is usually inverse, it's heading to weekly overbought. So I think weekly overbought on DXY and weekly oversold potentially on SPY is going to be a nice indication of a bottom, and then we're likely due for a massive pullback on DXY because we have basically no consolidation for the last 70 days. So like 10 weeks, right? with no consolidation. So this is due for a massive pullback. Weekly overbought could be the top. Weekly oversold on SPY could be the bottom. And then indicating that we could see a massive move on stocks and crypto into the end of the year. But DXY is definitely due for a massive pullback. And like I said, that'll be good for MJ. And then, like I said, government shutdown likely going to fuel that bearish momentum here short term. And then into the end of October and then into November, I think is where we're really going to start to see a massive rally into the end of the year. And also SPY is a potential monthly bull flag as well. So if we zoom out to the monthly time frame here, you can see here low to high. And then if you move that out to the 0.32 fib, so low to high there, move that out to the 0.32 fib. It says we could be targeting 521 as a blow off top here on the S&P 500. Keep in mind that Congress still hasn't been banned from owning stocks. The Feds banned themselves back here. They didn't ban themselves down here because they're borderline crooks and they should be in jail. So they banned themselves at the top. Where do you think Congress is going to want to ban themselves, like the Nancy Pelosi's, right? We know that she's 100% bought and paid for. We know that she's corrupt. We know she's doing insider trading at the highest level. So if the Fed banned themselves here, where do you think Nancy Pelosi, basically the biggest insider trader, is going to want to sell her stocks, right? Probably at all-time highs because she's a greedy SOB. But yeah, that's just me and my 2 cents. But again, we're following this dot-com fractal, but I knew we were probably going to deviate because of the trillions of dollars that they printed and the Federal Reserve even mentioned in their recent press conference there last week that they're going to be toning down on equities. So they're getting rid of their security holdings, meaning they're selling off stocks. So if they're not allowed to, if Federal Reserve isn't allowed to own stocks anymore and Congress is being banned from owning stocks potentially, and the Federal Reserve is unloading their securities, where do you think we're probably going to go? We're probably going to head to monthly oversold, and we're probably going to follow this dot-com fractal. But like I said, we need that one more blow off top, which I think is very possible, and the monthly bull flag. If we drop below 426, that negates the odds of a monthly bull flag. But if we hold 426 from here and we break 457, that confirms the monthly bull flag, and the target is 521, where Nancy Pelosi definitely wants to sell because she's a crooked you know what. Unfortunately, it's frustrating, but it just is what it is. You can't beat them at their own game because they make the rules. They own the press. They own the the media companies and the press. But it is what it is. You can't beat them at their own game. So you join them, and then you intercept that money that those crooks otherwise would have intercepted, and we'll use it for good for our friends and our family because we know that they don't care about any of us, right? They just want us to all be broke and own nothing, and you'll be happy, right? Well, screw you. We know what you're trying to do. We know how the markets work, and we know that you're 100% bought and paid for and borderline criminals and insider trading at the highest level. So we'll intercept that money that otherwise would have went to crooked Nancy Pelosi, and we'll use that to help our friends and family, right? So taking a look at USMJ, TAT, BAM, and TSND leading the decline today. PLTH, MRMD, and SHWC leading the bull list. Look at that move on PLTH, Planet 13 there off of the lows just over the last few days, up almost 170%, 165%. Then we saw a massive pullback of about 45%. Now off the lows here, we're up another 36%. So again, day trader's paradise. TAT, I did a review on this when I was in Colorado on my product reviews. If you go to that playlist on my channel, just go here, click on playlists, and you'll see product reviews. I actually did one on TAT. It's the hemp cigarette. Basically, they have a formulation that basically mimics the taste of tobacco, but there's no tobacco in it. There's no nicotine. It's basically hemp. But they have a lot of competitors, and they don't really have that great of a moat. And then pretty much any MJ company just come in and do what they're doing. And there's already very, very big competitors in Florida. I've seen a bunch of like hemp cigarettes and things like that. So this thing was at $6. Take a look at this. This thing was at $6 at one point. Exactly $6, and then it's now at 8 cents, and the low is 7.5 cents. So I added a position today. The most I'm going to put in is this, just a few $100s. This is a YOLO play for me, but and there could be a buyout target as well. But if this goes back to all-time highs, you're looking at about a 75x. So a $1,000 investment into about 75,000, or a $100 investment into about $7,500, right? So the most you can lose a few $100s or $1,000. You know how much you can risk versus your reward is unlimited, right? So great risk reward play. I just added that today to my long-term no touch. But looking at MSOS here real quick, so we're still way above the 10-week moving average. We are potentially seeing a bear cross though of the stochastic, which is a bit of a red flag. But we haven't seen that bear cross yet. And like I said, it is a potential weekly bull flag at the moment as well. If we ignore that lower wick, we're still above the 50 weekly. So we could back test that 50 weekly there at 709 as well. But then we have a lack of resistance until 1241, which is sitting there at the 100 weekly. And we're seeing a golden cross occur. So the 50-day moving average is at 622, and the 200-day moving average, is at 626. So we are 4 pennies away from seeing a golden cross, and that is a very, very bullish and we could expect massive upside from here. And I would expect we more than likely trend back to our EMA 26 on the monthly time frame, which would put us at around $15, 15.33. And then if we take a look at like Curaleaf, for example, a name that I'm extremely bullish on, look, it got above its EMA 26, which was there at 719. So we hit a high of 784 on this news, and it also confirmed a monthly uptrend with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. So this is one of the only names to confirm a monthly uptrend. This is definitely one of the most bullish charts out there. And very full disclosure, I do own Curaleaf in my long-term, it's my second biggest holding. And I've done a video on my top 5 MJ holdings and my whole entire MJ portfolio with percentage breakdown. You can check that out. Just search it on my channel. Just go to my channel and click on the search button and you can bring it up. But yeah, very, very bullish on it long term. And the more names that start to trend back to their EMA 26, look at AYR, get pretty close to its EMA 26. So one would think that MSOS is probably going to follow suit as well. And that would bring us up to around $15. But Golden Cross occurring. And then like I said, Curaleaf, for example, already had its Golden Cross and a massive move, monthly uptrend confirmed. Look what happened the last time we had a Golden Cross with the 50 below the 200-day moving average and they crossed. Price went from about $7 all the way up to $23. Then we had the Death Cross with the 50-day above the 200-day moving average. When that happened, the price was at around $15 and went to a low of about just under $3. Now we're seeing even more beaten down than we were this time around. So one would think that we're going to see a massive, massive move here into the end of the year. All right, let's jump into the chat here. How's everybody doing? Like I said, big week ahead. We have safer banking. We have Canopy results from the share consolidation and reverse split proposal today. Just because it get approved doesn't mean it's going to happen. They still have until mid-January to regain compliance, and they could get another 180-day extension as well. They're also in creditor protection and selling off the biosteel business. So anybody that throws around the B word or says, you know, Canopy Growth's going to zero, they clearly have a IQ of negative whatever, because yeah, they have way too many assets. They have way too many brands. They have way too many businesses and facilities that they're not going to go bankrupt anytime soon. They're sitting on like over $400 million in cash. So give your head a shake. That was just stupidity at its finest. But yeah, long time before they ever go belly up. But yeah, we have that results coming out later on today, if not tomorrow, more than likely. Then we have safer banking on the 27th, and we have Benzinga on the 27th and the 28th as well. So big week ahead for MJ stocks. And then, like I said, over the next couple of months, I think we're going to see a decision from the DEA potentially. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's go. You bet. MJ stocks pushing higher. Yeah, love to see it. Nah, I want the green stuff. I'm not sure what you mean. Still waiting on my package from you. No, I want the green stuff. Oh, not sure what you're referring to, Marcus, but sure if that's an inside joke or something we talked about before and I don't remember, but yeah, definitely not selling any myself. So if you want the green stuff, you'll have to go to your local dispensary. Could be a sell the news event, right? With the what news? I talked about quite a few news events. Do you mean safe banking, safer banking on Wednesday? It could be, but a lot of people are probably expecting to be let down. So one of these times, we're probably going to see the contrarian view where we get some kind of progress, right? And with the MJ industry, it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? So eventually, we're going to have 2 steps forward, 1 back, hopefully, or like 3 steps forward, 1 back, and or maybe 2 steps forward and 1 back, right? And then, you know, we just kind of hopefully start to trend back to where, you know, we get a few different positive catalysts string together. As right now, it's just been bearish catalyst after the next, and be nice to string together 2 or 3 small wins together. Lord knows we could need it. Lord knows we could use it. Yep, exactly. So let me see. I think I lost my position here. Can you please do analysis on MSOS? Yeah, I think I did that, Calvin. So it's looking pretty good. I just went over that. You probably posted that before I did it. Bravo, High Tide. Yeah, High Tide did see some nice action. So I mentioned that High Tide was likely one of the next names to see a massive move. And High Tide is in my MJ portfolio. I'm super bullish on it long term. And off of the lows there. And we had that bear flag confirmed, right? And we had a falling wedge on here as well. And then we had the weekly bear flag as well that confirmed. And we had a target of about $1. And then there was also a monthly bear flag of 65 cents. We didn't get there, but we did get to the $1 bear flag target. And then we had this falling wedge that broke bullish. And then obviously cue the news on HHS rescheduling. So off of the low there of about $1.03, we are now up 120%. Canopy's up almost 500% off the lows, but the harder the fall, the harder they recover, right? And like I said, sentiment was at the all-time low for Canopy for the longest time. When whenever they're throwing around the B word and $0 price tag on what we used to be the biggest company in MJ, we're probably getting close to a bottom, right? So that's why I was adding the boat heavily on CGC, because anybody with an IQ would realize that, they still have BioSteel, they still have stores in Bickle, they still have a ton of other facilities and brands and assets they could sell off. They're still sitting on over $400 million in cash. They just raised $25 million in a private placement from institutional investors. Anybody who even listened to them going bankrupt or a price target of 0, you deserve to lose all your money. I'm sorry. But if you fell for that nonsense, hopefully you learned your lesson, because that is just bullshit, right? That's just, excuse my French, but these media companies, they have no care in the world for you or any of us, right? That's why I come on here. I tell people what they want, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And I'm a realist before anything else. I could care less what people think of me. I could care less, if people like what I have to say or don't like what I have to say. I tell you the truth. And if you can't handle that, well, this is where adults play. So if you're not an adult and you can't handle the truth, I don't know what to tell you. Find a different channel, because I'm not going to fluff you like all these other fake gurus out there that think they know everything and, claim to know everything, and they just fill in people full of fluff and clickbait, and, that's not me. I tell people how it is, regardless if people hate what I say, love what I say. I really don't care. As long as I'm true to myself, then that's what we're after, right? But yeah, high tide, massive move there off the low. Still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend though. So we still need a monthly higher low and higher high to confirm a monthly uptrend. So Curaleaf, and we're weekly overbought. So high tide could see a massive pullback. We could easily pull back to $1.50 from here and still be healthy. So if this thing pulls back to $1.50 off of the highs here of 230, this thing could pull back to 150. And that would mean about a 30 to 35% pullback. What do you think is going to happen if this thing pulls back 30, 35%? Oh my God, what news broke out, right? What's wrong with high tide? It's the end of the world. It's like, no, it's just technical analysis 101. When something runs from, $1.03 all the way up to $2.30, 123% with barely any consolidation, you need to expect a 20-30% pullback. And that would just be healthy. So anybody who thinks that, the world's falling or the sky's falling, the world's ending, when we pull back to $1.50, they clearly have no idea what they're talking about, right? Or they're very naive, or they just don't understand how markets work. So when something goes up hundreds of percent, you need to expect 20-30% minimum of a pullback. If you expect anything less, then again, I question whether or not you should even be investing in the stock market. And that's not to be cocky or anything. That's just me being 100% honest. If something goes up 100, 200%, you're not expecting a 20-30% pullback, you're doomed to fail. Sorry, but that's just the cold hard truth. But yeah, high tide was looking fantastic for the longest time. Stochastic and the MACD went parabolic. We closed over the 10-week moving average. And then the weekly moving averages, we're now back testing the 100 weekly there at 241. So that could be, we had 230. So this very well could be our top, where we come back, maybe back test that 150 psychological. And we also have the 50 weekly there at 142. So that could be a nice target. This could be a nice short opportunity. But I'm not shorting it. Full disclosure, it is in my MJ portfolio. I'm very bullish on it. I hold it in my MJ portfolio long term. And I won't be selling it anytime soon. I won't be selling it. I won't be shorting it. And we have a golden cross already occurring. 142 is the 50-day moving average. 200-day moving average is 137. So we've already seen a golden cross. Last time that happened, price went from about $2 all the way up to $13. Then death cross, price went from about $6.50 all the way down to $1. Now we're beaten down even more than we were here, and we're seeing a golden cross. And this time we have actual catalysts, right? This was just on the hopes of U.S. legalizing and the Dems taking control of the Senate. This is HHS rescheduling potentially, and safe banking, and Germany coming online, Florida on the ballot for 2024, MJ Act under review here in Canada, legalization of medical potentially in the U.S., uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. Like, come on, it's time to go. Let's go. Looking forward to it. I'm holding MJ for the long term. I got 15 to 20 years until retirement. Let's go. Well, yeah, you don't want to, just be careful, Henry. Like, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold or anything like that. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, and no two people will have the same investor risk profile or time horizon and just overall, situation. And don't buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. But you need to have a plan, right? If you're just saying I'm going to be holding in 15 to 20 years and I've got that long to retirement, it's somewhat of a plan. Like, you're holding until retirement, I guess. I guess that could be a plan. As long as that's your plan, you stick to it, and you don't get mad if things skyrocket and you don't take profit, and then it comes crashing down again, because that's how the market works. So I would just be sure to have a plan. That's what most people fail to do, is they fail to plan, and those that fail to plan to fail. So as long as you have a plan, and you're like me, for example, I have a short-term account where I'm not touching it for a while, but I will take profits on, like, say, Tilray at $10, right? But I'm not selling a single Tilray share until it hit $10. That's in my short-term account. And in my longer-term account, I'm not selling Tilray until the U.S. legalizes at the federal level. It doesn't matter if Tilray is $300, $200, $1,000, or $100 or $50. I'm not selling a single Tilray share in my long-term account or any of my MJ positions. I have over 15 positions in MJ now. Mix of U.S. producers, Canadian producers, retailers in the U.S. and Canada, ETFs in U.S. and Canada, right? Picks and shovels. So in my long-term account, I'm not selling any MJ shares until the U.S. legalizes. That's my game plan for that. Then in my other one, I have profit-taking levels for my picks, right? So Tilray, for example, I'll start to take profit at $10, then $15, then $20, then $30, right? Every increment $5 higher, essentially. But I'm not selling a single Tilray share until at least $10, right? And then some people might have a time horizon. Well, I'm not selling anything for 3 years or 5 years. Some people might have a target price, right? Maybe $10, $15, $20. Maybe it's the U.S. legalizing, like me. Maybe you're going to wait until your MJ portfolio is worth $1 million. Once you're, maybe it's worth 10 million or 10,000, today, and you're not selling any MJ positions until your MJ portfolio is worth $1 million. That could be another way to do it, right? But just make sure you have a plan. They are crooks. Yep, definitely. Yep, Nancy Pelosi should be behind bars. All of these people really that are making law. Like a monkey can tell you that anybody who's making laws should not be able to own stocks. Like the Federal Reserve was literally printing trillions of dollars, investing in the stock market, artificially propping up the market, and staff was allowed to own stocks. Like, come on. The Federal Reserve was literally created by Congress as well, and isn't even the Federal Reserve is not federal, nor do they have any reserves. So it's basically a private company, an entity that isn't even part of the U.S. government. It's just ludicrous. And yeah, and ruined families. Definitely crooks, bunch of thieves. Yep, they should be behind bars. We need to vote them out. Tilray, please, Rod. So yeah, I did go over Tilray. I think we can bring it up here real quick, though. So yeah, Tilray. It's just some names taking turns. But yeah, we're seeing a golden cross on Tilray. We're 3 cents away from seeing a golden cross. The 50-day moving average at 248, 200-day moving average at 251. Last time that happened, price went from $7 up to $67. Then we had the death cross. Price went from about $15 all the way down to $1.50. Now we're seeing a golden cross, even more beaten down from here. So like I said, Tilray on the monthly time frame, it's a little premature yet. But on the monthly time frame, it is a potential inverse head and shoulders, and the measured move of that head and shoulders takes us to about $13. So we could be looking out for that. And more than likely, we could form a monthly higher low next month. And like I said, government shutdown, October not being a great month for stocks historically, government shutdown potentially looming, that could create, and then only 3 days left, just under 4 days left in this monthly candle. We could start monthly consolidation next month where we form that higher low and then the right shoulder and then the inverse head and shoulders potentially break out and monthly uptrend confirmation. So this is generally where people, unlike you have the left head, right, in the inverse head and shoulders. Usually it's on the right shoulder where people get faked out of the market because that's where we're just forming the monthly higher low and potentially changing the monthly trend. People think we're going to a monthly lower low. They get spooked. They end up selling the bottom. And then that's where we get the monthly uptrend confirmation and the IHS confirming. And that's generally where most people think we're going to go down to new lower lows, and then we go the opposite way, confirm a monthly uptrend in IHS. But a little bit premature at this point, but it's looking like it's very, very possible. Like I said, just looking at the broader market, historically October not being a great month, and then the narrative of government shutdown could create some panic and fear and sell-off in the market, which could give us our right shoulder here on the IHS. So that's what we'll be looking for. And Kira, yeah, Kira's looking real good. We love you, Rod. We love you too. I love you too. I own Kira now too. Nice. Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's my second biggest holding. Very, very bullish. Like I said, they'd already be paying a dividend if it wasn't for 280E. So if we get rescheduled to Schedule 3, that's way more money hitting their bottom line. they've already paid over $350 million under 280E alone to the U.S. government. Imagine if they had that on their bottom line and they were able to give that back to investors. People are like, there's already companies like Greenlight. There's already companies. There's a REIT as well. I forget the REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, similar to IIPR. I forget the name of it. But anyway, they're paying a dividend. So there's already two companies. Greenlight's, I think that's the name of the company, Greenlight. I did a video on it. They're a private company though. So you wouldn't hear much about them or be able to invest as, at retail because they're not public. But there's already two companies of which I know in the Canadian in the MJ space that are paying dividends. And right from Boris Jordan, the executive chairman and co-founder of Curaleaf, said that they would already be paying a dividend more than likely if it wasn't for 280E tax burden. So all these people that are, these retail investors saying, it's 10 years out, 20 years out before dividends, like, you're just talking nonsense. It's like, no. There's already two companies paying dividends in MJ, and pretty soon, after 280E goes away, it could happen in a year or two, right? So, absolutely. Does anyone know what time is the Safer Banking Act on Wednesday? No, they didn't say. They said it was to be determined. But if I do come across it, I'll let you know. We should be able to check on the committee website. But I want to wrap it up, or I wanted to keep this around 40, 45 minutes, and we're already pretty much there. So I'll see if I can find that information. It did say that there wasn't any time confirmed the last time I checked, but at some point on Wednesday. But I'll see if I can get that information. Hilarious. Yeah, respect, Rod. I love that about you. Don't ever change. Yep, absolutely. Well, I listen to a lot of people on YouTube, and like I said, it's just, most people don't even cover MJ stocks because they're in a bear market. They only come out of the woodworks when things are going up, right? And I'm like, that's when people don't even really need you. They don't need you to tell them MJ stocks are cool again when they're going up. They already know. People need support, and like people that are going to be like me, like content creators that are going to be here in the thick and the thin, and the people that only come out in the thin and that aren't around for the thick part and the challenging part. You should question them. It's like, do they really even care about you? Or are they just there to make money off of YouTube, and they don't want to look bad because things are going down, right? It's like, no, screw that. I'm here through the thick and the thin, through rain or shine, bear market, bull market. I'm here making videos for the rest of my life, right? And these people that only make videos whenever things are popular, like, shame on them, right? This is the best industry, the medicine of the future, best industry on the planet, best plant that ever existed. Shame on you. You should not only come when it's cool, because it's always cool. Even if prices are down, it's still the best thing ever. So totally agree. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We love you. No fluffing required. Yeah, I love you guys too. Like I said, it's definitely goes both ways, and yeah, the amount of people that supported me along the way, I really do appreciate it. SNDL, yeah, I did an SNDL analysis for private members today. In the private member, I usually go live about 30 minutes before the stock market closes and do a market update for private members and ticker requests. So I did do an update on SNDL, so that'll be fresh on the dome here. But yeah, monthly bounce underway. Still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend, so I would expect a monthly higher low potentially next month with the government shutdown looming, and historically October not being a great month for stocks. We got a ton of room to form a monthly higher low. You could look to add potentially on a monthly higher low, but nice move here off of the low here on SNDL, up almost 84%. Lots of names up 100%, 200%. Canopy up almost 500%. So it's definitely got some room to run. And then EMA 26 sitting there at 440, which could be a nice target here. But again, still need to confirm a monthly higher low and higher high. And then on the weekly time frame, we're still holding the 10-week moving average. A little bit of a concern here that we're seeing a stochastic bear cross, which adds to more potential for the monthly consolidation and weakness into next month as a potential government shutdown looms. But we are back testing the 50 weekly, and it's holding, so it's looking really good there at 188. So if we can close a weekly candle over that this week, it'll be good. But we do have a lack of resistance to the 100 weekly there at 322, and we are seeing a golden cross lining up on SNDL as well. 171 is the 50-day, and 200 days at 176, so we're 5 pennies away from seeing a golden cross. And what do you notice about all these MJ names? Right? Tilray, SNDL, OGI. Actually, OGI is really far away. MSOS, already seeing it. Cura. So the more names that have golden crosses, the better. And the more names that confirm monthly uptrends, the better. This is looking really, really good here into the end of the year. Safer Banking Act at 7:30 a.m. Eastern? Okay, cool. Thanks for looking into that. And that's just what Spy Boy Game said. So yeah, no, not knocking or anything. I'm not 100. You want to vet that, everybody. I'm not sure if there's no source, then take it with a grain of salt. But seems like Spyboy went out and found that for us. So thank you very much, Spyboy. Appreciate it. So we'll go with 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, for right now. Let me rephrase. I'm holding MJ until legalization. I've got 15 to 20 to wait for that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so similar game plan to me. Yeah. So as long as you have a plan, Henry, and stick to that plan. It's just a lot of people deviate from their plans. They panic sell or they FOMO buy, or they sell too early. It's just as important to know when to sell as it is to when to buy as well. It's okay for them to do it, not you. You bet. Thank you, Rod. You bet. My pleasure. TLRY thoughts. So I just went over that. MG, you bet. Golden Tilray. Safer Banking Act at 7:30 a.m. to my knowledge. Okay, cool. September and October. Yeah, it could be a down month coming up, or at least, first couple weeks of October. Like I said, government shutdown looming. The narrative's there, right? They just need to pull the strings. Puppet masters pulling the strings. Bearish months, you bet. Yeah, I've seen some of them who started making content after HHS recommendation. Terrible people. Yeah. Well, they just want clicks. They want views. They don't want people to think that, oh, look at this idiot covering MJ stocks and it's down 99% from all-time high, right? It's like, I don't care. This is why I was born, was to support this amazing industry and medicine in the future. I get trolls all the time. They can just troll on, because I really do not give a shit, for lack of a better word. I love catching these live vids. Thanks for doing them, bro. You bet, Anthony. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Glad you get value out of it. Agree. You bet. November. Will this be a good Christmas, or is it too early? Yeah, it very well could be a Santa Claus rally, and definitely a present we'd all be hoping for. Like I said, Lord knows we could use it. November and December rally. Yeah, it's looking that way. Like I said, the broader market as well, looking like we could see some massive movement into the end of the year. Potential BlackRock ETF decision for Bitcoin spot ETF is pushed out to October 17th as well. So, like I said, could start as a really down month in October, and then the media is like, oh, I told you historically October's a bad month and government shutdown, blah, blah, blah. And then they pass the spot Bitcoin ETF, and then everything just explodes, right? Because they're very correlated to the equity market. And then we could get Congress being banned from owning stocks, and then that would mark our top monthly bull flag to 520 or something like that on SPY, potentially blow off top, and then biggest crash of market history. Right? Not to ruffle any feathers or anything like that, but we do need to expect the worst crash in market history, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. No bear. December too. Yeah, who knows? Lots of bear. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are expecting bearishness, but I think a little bit of short-term bearish, and then we're going to see euphoric, huge market rally into the end of the year potentially, and then into spring 2024, and sell and may go away type of phenomenon into 2024. I think that's when we'll start to crater and enter a bear market and potential recession confirmed, even a potential depression in the U.S. Keep in mind that student loan repayments start in October as well in the U.S. Inflation keeps ticking higher. Interest rates have been paused, but they said maybe potential for one more in the end of the year. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that they plan to start tapering off in mid-2024, so there could be a couple more rate hikes there as well, and inflation rose here last report here in Canada, so it's looking like there could be a couple more hikes. You fluff us in your own way, Rod. Did you notice Canada set another monthly sales record in July? Data came out this past Friday. Yeah, I mentioned it in my weekly MJ news that I posted on Saturday. I do those rapid fire updates. I mentioned it in that video. But yeah, great to see. Janua bear. Well, eventually we're gonna have to get bull, right? So yeah. All right, gonna end it there. Wanted to keep it around 40 to 45 minutes. We're just under 50 minutes, so Gonna end it there. Thanks again, everybody. You've got over 50 viewers here still after 49 minutes, so I really do appreciate the support. Thanks for joining the live stream. Thanks for all your contributions. As always, I really do appreciate it. Love each and every one of you supporting me along the way, and definitely goes both ways. So, like I said, make sure to check out palmerch.ca as well. Get that 10% off as a thank you until the end of September. And like I said, big week ahead. We should get the vote results from Canopy here later on today, if not tomorrow, more than likely. Safer banking in the morning. Like I said, 7:30 is tentative. Thanks for that, Spy Boy. And then we should see, did you cover ACB yet? Not in this video, but I did do a video recently. You can check that out. But I want to keep this video a little bit shorter, so that maybe we can take a look at that one next time on the next live stream. Great info. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Glad you guys got and gals got, keep rocking, you bet. Glad you guys got and gals got video value out of the video here today. All right, hope you have a fantastic evening. Like I said, big week ahead. We have Benzinga conference as well on the 27th and the 28th, so it could be good timing. And like I said, we know we're due for a couple wins, and we have some of the biggest catalysts upcoming in this industry that we've ever seen. So fingers crossed here into Wednesday, but it's looking phenomenal. Very, very excited for the future. So going to end it there. Hope you have a fantastic evening. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we shall see you on the next video. Have a great night.